Medical Intuitive Insights with your host, Dr. Gloria Warren, is a program that presents topics on medical intuition, holistic opportunities outside of mainstream society, and scientific research as applied today. Topics range from online intuitive readings to interviews unveiling alternative healing modalities and discussing them with inspirational leaders. Dr. Warren is the bridge within holistic arts while stressing the balance between the spiritual and physical self. So now, please welcome the host of Medical Intuitive Insights, Dr. Gloria Warren.
Does your diagnosis indicate an autoimmune disorder? Does it scare you? Is there something you can do for your own condition? Well, this is why you're here today. Excuse me. Hello, I'm your host, Dr. Gloria C. Warren, and you are watching Medical Intuitive Insights, where science meets soul. Today's topic is autoimmune disorders and potential resolutions. We're here today to help you on your journey in getting better. Regina joins me today to explore her situation and options that may assist you as well in your diagnosis. Now, Regina is here with us today. She chose not for her face to be seen, and we're good with that. We've done that many times before, but she can hear us, right, Regina?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. By the way, welcome. I'm so glad you could be with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, we'll provide you insights today, the pros and cons of your options to autoimmune disorders. And we welcome your live questions, insights, along with any comments after the show. Let's say you're looking at YouTube or wherever you're reading it. You can go ahead and put in your comments. I'll check on that periodically. Okay. Remember, you are the star of the show here, not just Regina. So please, we want to help you as well. That's why we're here. First, though, we have Regina and our viewers, of course, and we are here to increase your own personal power and energy and self-sustainability by understanding the positive truths to a negative situation. So let us meet our star, Regina. Hi, Regina. Thank you for being on our show. Are you ready for your mini medical intuitive reading here today?
Yes, I am.
And how are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling fine. Thank you.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it. Not nervous, right? No need to be nervous. This is all open here. Here on our show, we do a verbal HIPAA release. So I'm going to ask Regina one question, and she'll give a yes or no answer. Therefore, Regina, do you grant your permission for us to do a mini medical intuitive reading here on the show, which will be on the internet for public viewing now and in the future?
Yes.
Great. So first, let me explain the process of how I do a medical intuitive reading. My background is I'm a certified epidemiologist through Johns Hopkins University. I also hold a research doctorate and several other degrees and certifications. So if you need that information, you can always contact me. But my process here as a medical intuitive here today is I apply my intuition. And with that intuition, I apply what I call common sense, but also medical information that I am able to give. So through that intuition, I may get certain other things that come across, and that's spiritual things. I'm also a minister. So Regina, if I come across anything spiritual, do you mind if I mention those here on the show?
No, that's fine.
Great. I love this type of patient, by the way. So if you're interested in being a patient, please, contact me, 715-892-7500. Unusual diseases is what I'm looking for right now. So if you have anything unusual or they don't know what's wrong with you, please give me a call. Okay, so the process here, back to the process. The process is Regina gave me sent me through text, very simply, pictures of her face, her hands, both sides, her feet, and her body, both sides, and clothes, of course. It just gives me a little extra time because right here, we only have like 15 minutes to do this reading, and it's really not a lot of time. So I want to make sure I try to capture the root cause of the situation and what's happening in her body. So that is exactly what I did. So I started to write down some of the information, and as you see, not much, because I saw the root cause. And when I saw the root cause, I stopped, because if I kept going, I would find this everywhere at some level. So what I actually found was, I was first looking and I found knee swelling, left knee posture with her knees were incorrect. So I'll talk to her about that later. Swelling in the thyroid section. I found a lot of allergic reactions, like in the tissue, and then that made me look deeper and further, kind of went to more of a microscopic level, and I'm seeing her body actually attacking its own cells to a certain degree, and that made me stop, because I knew where this was all going. This is a common thing in today's world. We have a lot of chemicals in our environment, a lot of stress in our environment, and the list goes on and on. So that's when I told Regina, yes, I'd like to have you on the show. So here we are. I am normally, though, a medical intuitive reading takes an hour and a half to 2 hours, sometimes even longer. And if I go to the person's house, I actually do a review of everything in their cupboards and their materials in their environment, from floors and carpets and even down to the chemicals in tissue paper. So, I mean, there's so much involved with being self-sustainable, to be in a clean environment. And when I say clean environment, I mean that, because many cancers are also caused from different chemicals. So let me flip over here now. How are you feeling? Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Good? Okay. I'm going to flip over here, and we're going to talk briefly on, there we go. So many things can cause genetic diseases or autoimmune diseases, and one is genetics. Environmental triggers, that's where I come in with toxins and things in your environment. Hormonal factors, definitely. I was looking at your photographs, by the way, and I noticed that hormonal factors may be one of the answers to that problem. So I'm going to be do an overview here of her situation. And that is, with the cells the way they are, it can be one of many diseases. And that all depends on what comes out with all of the tests and what the doctor feels that it may be, because you really need to know the root cause to give it a label. So no matter what any of those autoimmune disease labels are, that's where I come in, because I see it as one major problem. Your body is attacking the cells. So I do see, when I was looking at your photographs, I do see some hormonal situation, but not as much as I would see normally with a patient that is getting this reaction in the body. I do see an allergic response where the cells are, I should be writing this down. I do see an allergic response where the cells are being attacked by your own cells. This can come up in many different ways, but it also, immune dysregulation is what they call it, an overactive T cells or B cells. Poor immunity tolerance, maybe your body is overloaded. Gut microbes can be an imbalance, and lifestyle triggers, sleep, lack of sleep. Obviously, in this case, obesity is not involved. Diet, maybe I'll be talking to you about that. But it's, whether it's something like celiac or Crohn's or Graves' disease or MS or any of the rheumatoid arthritis, even any of the types of autoimmune disease, I'm just going to jump right in and talk about really fast what I believe your root cause to your problem is. Okay, I know that's like, would that shock you if I did that?
No, that would be good.
Okay, so I mean, we can go through a whole mess of different things, and I just don't want to waste, valuable time because we only have a short time here. So, what I have noted in particular, let me see, I wrote it down. Okay, let me. So, I do see some genetics involved in that, in you. I do, definitely. But I don't think that's the primary reason for your situation. Here we go. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. So I believe it has a lot to do with your pH level in your bloodstream and in your saliva and all the fluids in your body. Science does back this up. I'm just letting you know. There's a whole list of references that I can forward to you. You gave me your email earlier. I can forward you that list of references. Let me mark it down. Send reference list. References pH. Okay. So normally the body's pH levels somewhere between 7 and 7.5, 7.0 to 7.5 in there. And the problem is if you get acidosis, your body will be hypersensitive. It's part of the fight or flight scenario in your body. So when people are the days when they're starving or fighting, and the fighting releases extra lactic acid into the bloodstream, it actually benefits them because then they actually have a greater sense of power and heightened level of mental acuity and thought processes happen when the pH level drops. And it's the fight or flight scenario. So if you're under a lot of stress, it can actually trigger that. Other things, though, that can trigger it. By the way, I've always known that about pH levels, but in 2020, Frontiers in Immunology actually did a study on it, and they found that that can be the case. So diet and metabolism, are you a vegetarian?
No.
Okay, well, that's rules. Okay, so sometimes if you eat too much meat, it actually drives your pH level lower. I don't think that's your case. I don't see that. It causes what they call acid load. Plant-rich diets, usually fruits, vegetables, and that type of thing, usually don't affect it because that's more of an alkaline diet. But low-grade acidosis from Western medicine is common in society today, and it can produce a lot of chronic inflammation and autoimmune disease symptoms. So I say symptoms because to me an autoimmune disease is a specific condition when you're diagnosed, but it's not something that needs to be permanent. So I think that things like that can be reversed. There are some holistic medical viewpoints on this whole thing. So the acidic body will drive that autoimmunity and make it worse. So it causes swelling and pain. Can easily cause pain. There are things you can do like drinking some alkaline water periodically, or just putting a little baking soda, a couple pinches in your water every day, or anything you drink in the morning. Do you drink coffee?
Yes, I do.
Okay, every time you drink a cup of coffee, take 2 go like this, 2 small pinches and drop it in of baking soda. Okay?
Okay.
And if you drink tea, sometimes that can be the case. Don't do it for green tea. But if you feel like you are getting more symptoms, you can add a little more to your other drinking things that you have. So the when your pH though shifts drastically, it can create another more drastic response when your body wants to attack your own cells. So that whether it's getting low blood red cell counts and things like that, or causing inflammation or whatever, it can you got to slowly bring it up and try to keep it up. Okay, I order pH test strips, and I can send you that information. Let me put it down here on my to-do for you. Test strips. They're not expensive. They're really cheap. They're only like $7 or $8. And it comes with like 50 of them in there. You can just put a little morning spit in the morning on it and see what your pH is when you start. And then as you kind of monitor your pH level and your pain level or your other symptoms, you'll see that when your pH starts to come up, your symptoms start to go away. So I think that's really important though. So I have a list of those references though. Like I said, I will send those to you. So diet can actually have an impact. I don't think that's it. However, if you don't eat regularly, like if you're somebody who doesn't want to eat because you just don't want to gain weight or something like that, or maybe your hormones are starting to come in play. I do think your hormones are starting to come in play. So I think they've been in play with some of this situation. But if you don't eat small meals, then it's going to drive your pH lower. Just letting you know. I think at our age, we're in a catch-22. So it's sort of, I don't know. Do you find that you don't want to eat as much, but then you don't feel the same when you eat? Or
I don't really feel any difference when I'm not eating versus eating
how
consistently.
often do you eat?
I work at a job that I don't get a chance to eat.
Mhm.
So when I work, I could go pretty close to, 15, 20 hours without eating. But
Wow.
when I'm home, I do eat. I usually eat 2 meals and then a
Mhm.
snack in between.
I think that really could be one of the root causes to your problem. It's aggravating your system. So I think we need to talk about that, our eating schedules and things like that, and I'll give you a few recommendations. But first, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to hear a few messages from our sponsor. You're watching Medical Intuitive Insights, and I am your host, Dr. Gloria C. Warren. We will be right back. Thank you.
Mike Zorek, a 3-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a 6-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and 2 fourths. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back. You are watching Medical Intuitive Insights. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria C. Warren, and we are here with Regina. And Regina was just telling me she's in the medical field. And why don't you tell our audience what your eating schedule is like at work?
There really isn't any. I try to drink a big glass of water when I get a chance, and try to drink that through the day. If I do get a break, it'll be a snack of some sort.
So, and there's no way for you to actually take a break. So, this is probably what has driven her pH level down. And it's people don't realize sometimes it's not just you're not eating and then you'll be fine because you'll eat more on your days off. That doesn't work that way. Your body has a long-term effect of your eating schedule. So even if she has a snack bar or a small salad, she's not getting breaks. And this is a huge problem. It's just the nature of the beast. When you work in the medical field, this is just what happens to some of us. And in her case, it happened. Came right on top of her and said, that's it, But unfortunately, this can lead to a lot of major problems later on in life. And this is my biggest concern, because if you are not eating right, it's going to make things worse in general. It's also going to affect the internal organs of your body, your heart situation, different anything in your body can be affected by a pH level that keeps going down. You age faster. I have an anti-aging workshop I'm giving in Mexico first week in December, and the aging process changes when your pH level is too low. So you're going to age much faster. That's why in one instance, we eat better now here in the US. Well, most of us, we hope. And usually the lifespan's a lot longer. But when you don't have a usual eating cycle, you can, I don't want to say it in terrible words or anything, but your life is shortened. And that's because it does affect everything, every single thing. So there are some things to do that we can, recommend. So I was thinking, we can discuss some of that after you've got a diagnosis. And most of you, if you're watching this, you probably do have a diagnosis. But there's pharmacological management of different types, from anti-inflammatories. I chose turmeric. I take 2 turmeric every morning with a big glass of water. One thing to remember, Regina, too, if you're drinking enough water, it does help. But you could just add some baking soda in that water. That'll even help further. So anti-inflammatories, but I chose something natural, being that I'm an herbologist. So corticosteroids, prednisone, I'm not one personally that would recommend that, but that's something that your medical professional can go over with that and discuss it, and then you guys decide what's best for you. They have what they call anti-rheumatic drugs, and they suppress the immunity. And I worked on Humira was one that I worked on. It's a transplant drug that stops the body from rejecting an organ. And the thing with that is it does lower your immunity, because when your pH level is lower, your immunity actually what I've seen, your immunity becomes higher. But if it lowers your immunity, they can take your pH and raise it. But to me, immunity is lower. It should be around 7.0. I mean, I would like to see everybody's pH level like 6.8 to 7.2. I don't like it as high as what they say the norm is personally, but you got to consider those things. I like to have fast thinking, and if I get my pH up too high, it can cause alkalosis and depression, things of that nature. So I like it to be on the lower side of the norm or even just below it. But I think today I took after seeing your photos again, I took my pH level and it was like a 6.2, which is better than it was a few days ago, but I need to get it back up too. I mean, it's a common problem. And in my case, it's from stress. Yeah, our viewers, they could have lupus or rheumatoid arthritis, anything that can be part of it. So biological therapies, they target different B cell blockers and things like that in your system. Oh, son of a gun, I do see the word Humira here, and Remicade and Rituxan and things like that. So there are positives and negatives when you take anything, whether it's a pharmaceutical or it's an herbal product. And yes, herbal products can be dangerous too. So I knew somebody that was taking echinacea every day for like over 2 years, and she started getting liver disease from the echinacea. It does happen. There are negatives in everything. And you really need to watch this type of thing. It's not like, hey, it's all natural, so my body knows what to do with it. That's not completely true. So whether it's a pharmaceutical or herbal, everything I feel in my situation is I'm a minimalist. I take only what I need, and then that's it. But some of these medications you need to take on a regular basis. So that's something that you would need to talk with your regular medical professional, no matter what kind of medical professional she is. So through nutrition, anti-inflammatories, and that's, you could take omega-3s, you can eat a lot of berries, that helps, rich fruits, vegetables, gluten-free diets sometimes for celiac disease may help, but it may not. I don't find that a gluten-free diet brings up the pH where it belongs. So just a thought: exercise, low impact. The more heavy exercise you do, it'll drive your pH down again, and it'll put more acid into your system, specifically lactic acid. But putting baking soda in your liquids help remove lactic acid. By the way, it's a really good tip when you exercise a lot. If you're sore the next day, you put a little baking soda in your drinks, and it helps to equalize and temper those acids. So stress management, this is a big thing with me. Mindfulness, biofeedback, things of that nature, and enough sleep and rest. And I think, Regina, I think your problem may be not enough sleep and rest, because that is a heck of a workload you're on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's scary. How many hours sleep do you get?
That's the problem. I haven't slept well for probably 30 years. So I've tried everything natural I can. Nothing works. That's kind of why I wanted to talk to you.
Yep, and that's why I came up with an option for you, and it's self-hypnosis. So I just felt that this was something that may actually help you personally. And I have a list of self-hypnosis type of things I can send you that you can say to yourself for those type of things. Hey, would you like me to send you that list?
Yes, please.
Let me mark it down. Self-hypnosis tips and sayings. My writing is terrible on here today, but if you need any thing that will help, do you need any deciphering, just call me and I will give that to you. Okay. I know I have something in my computer. Let's check. Yeah, this was part of what I collected for you and I wanted to send you. So you're going to definitely want to find a quiet place. And I don't know if you're going to find a quiet place too often, but if you sit, lay down, or any relaxed position will do, you're going to start with some deep breathing. Breathe all the way in, hold it for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then count as it goes out, at least 5 or 6 seconds, okay? And then you just relax, and you do it again. And this just gets you into a point of relaxation. You want to kind of do that. I do it like 5 times. That's what really helps me. And then you can also then, when you do it, you can start then to focus on your feet. Maybe pick just your left foot, and then pick just your right foot, and then your legs, and your hands, and your fingers. And you want to imagine like it's a going up a staircase of relaxation to where you can just calm and relax. And then here's one here. I really like this one. I am safe, calm, and in control. I release tension in every breath. My mind is peaceful. My body is relaxed. I handle challenges with ease and strength. I think that's the best one. I went through about 40 of them, and I thought, I sense that in your picture, especially of your full body and face, I see so much stress that your shoulders are even tense when you're standing there, and you may not even realize it. And I think that please watch on how you pick up. Make sure to mind all your things at work, to watch how you pick things up or whatever, because I see that there's a thoracic spinal curve there that I don't like, and it's putting pressure in your lumbar spine. Okay. You want to try saying that one or no? You want me to just send you the list?
Sure.
Not a problem. I know like this isn't like all these bells and whistles going off, but I'm just trying to give everyone those little nuggets that are going to help them. This will also help lower your blood pressure, um, improve your memory. Your subconscious mind can start to become more calmer, and maybe on a regular basis, you can do this even as you're walking at work. You can count with your steps, with deep breaths, to kind of zen yourself out a little bit. I do though feel very strongly that your pH level is because of stress, not eating appropriately, and stress. We are going to take another commercial break, so stay right with us. We'll be back after our sponsors' little break. And as you're watching Medical Intuitive Insights, I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Warren. See you in a couple minutes. Bye.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back to Medical Intuitive Insights. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Warren. We have Regina here with us. She's in the background. She's there. And, during the break, she had mentioned some of the things she does. And I thought that it would benefit you, our audience, to hear some of the things she does on a regular basis. Regina?
Hi. So I just want to let everyone know that I do a gluten-free diet. For many years, since 2018. I also did dairy-free diet. Just last year, I slowly introduced dairy back into my diet. I also exercise a couple of times a week. I also do alkaline water. I do the berries. I try to eat more vegetables and fruits than meat because for some reason, as I get older, meat doesn't, it just doesn't feel right eating it at times, so I don't eat it a lot, but I force myself because I do need some protein.
Okay. So I'm sure that there's many people out there that could, respond to that, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And I'm just want to comment on a few things. She was gluten-free, you are gluten-free. Just
Correct.
keep in mind to our audience, gluten-free does not mean you're allergic to wheat. It doesn't mean you're allergic to these grains. You are allergic to a substance within certain grains. Doesn't mean you're allergic to all the grains, but you are allergic to a substance within the grains. Unfortunately, now here's some of the drawback. Unfortunately, legumes are involved, and legumes have lectin or something like that, which causes, pardon me?
It is lectin that causes the inflammation. Yeah.
It causes inflammation. So a lot of people that are gluten-free, they have more inflammation and they don't understand the connection. And it's simple. So you need to find out, are you allergic to wheat? I mean, or are you allergic to which other grains you're allergic to so you can stand clear of them. If you go to your doctor and you say, hey, I think I'm allergic to gluten, they're going to check you for gluten, but they're not going to check you for grains when you may only be allergic to a grain versus gluten. Gluten's in many different grains, but I've had this. I used to train doctors on this actually, because they thought when you test for gluten means you can't eat wheat, but you were only if somebody thinks you're allergic to wheat, they test for gluten, and you could just be allergic to wheat, not necessarily gluten, because the way the tests are with that is very vague. And in the laboratory where I started out, things are not as exact as they should be when it comes to testing for gluten or grain. So you need to make sure the doctor understands or discuss it with them. And if they need to discuss it with me, I'll discuss it with them. Okay, she was dairy free, not now, thank God. Thank goodness, because dairy has lactic acid, which increases your immunity. So if you want to drink dairy and you drink I'm not gonna say names, but if you eliminate lactic acid, that can be a problem because your immunity can start to drop a little. And everything you take out of your diet that increases immunity, like meat has heme iron that increases your immunity. However, you're vegetarian or whatever, that's a problem. You're not going to find heme iron anywhere else but in meat. And heme iron is what increases your immunity in meat. So it's all in balance though. Like you said, now you eat more vegetables than meat. Well, we're getting older, so maybe we don't need as much meat, but you got to keep up your protein, like you said. I'm just more picky about which meats I eat. And if you crave meat, remember this, Regina, if you crave meat or red meat or chicken, you need to eat that. You need to eat that. So be pickier about which meats you eat and make sure it's clean meat. Make sure there's no adhesives in it. It's not processed. Make sure it's grass-fed beef, not regular beef, because hormones are involved underage, and you want to make sure you're getting the real deal and the healthiest meat you can get. I even have my own chickens for that purpose, you know. Chicken does have heme iron in it, thank goodness. Alkaline water. Watch your alkaline water. This is very important because I helped a water facility in Arizona, and the water was 8.8 pH, and they're putting it on the market. But the problem is people think they can drink this all day. You can't. You can get too much alkalinity in your body and get alkalosis, which causes depression and things of that nature. So, you know, I see a lot of children that are sedate and they're having an alkalosis problem because they're not active. And those are the ones that need to get up and become active to drive the pH level back where it needs to be, and hopefully not too low. But, you know, it's all a balance. Our life is a balance. You need to check, though, with everything you're hearing here with your medical professional or whichever type of medical professional you see. I think that's about it. So yeah, she doesn't get much sleep at all, Regina, and she seems to be trying to eat right. You just got to make sure it's in a balance. Don't just drink alkaline water all day long. It's too much alkalinity, and your body needs to have some acids in your diet so you can digest your food correctly too in your stomach. Sometimes another thing that I found in my experience with patients was that when they have a lot of alkaline substances in their diet and they're putting in too much baking soda, seems to be a trend now, but by putting in too much baking soda, it can actually cause all this depression. So you just don't want to do it. I mean, depression is a big problem in this world today, and I want to make sure that you guys aren't doing it because it's just the fad. You know, it may be a fad. There probably is a good place for it in your diet, but just please do everything as a minimalist and try to balance everything. It's all in balance. Okay. So I thank you, Regina, for being on the show with me today. This has been wonderful, and I hope that everyone who is watching can please pass this on to anybody with an autoimmune disorder, any type of autoimmune disorder, please. This is information they need. We can put you on the show if you like. If you do, 715-892-7500. I have a new website, medicalintuitivegloria.org. The initial one, medicalintuitivegloria.com, is online still. You can see a nice video of me there from years ago, which I love that video. It just says so much. I have more videos of me from interviews and things of that nature, but maybe I'll get them on there eventually. So be good to yourself, be self-sustainable, drive yourself to good nutrition, getting your pH where it belongs, and there for the grace of God, we all go, and me too. And God bless. See you next week. Thank you.
This has been Medical Intuitive Insights with host Dr. Gloria Warren. Tune in each week as Gloria shares over 40 years of experience and yearns to provide knowledge derived from intuition and research. Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Eastern.